Hello again, everyone. I got my hair done. I was going for like as white as this shirt I'm wearing, but we're getting there. It's just something that had impressed me. Um, I had been having dreams about having white hair, so here I am getting it done. So I wanted to I wanted to welcome you again to another one of my videos. This one is about my experience with a personal goddess slash spirit guide. Um, she has revealed herself to me as a goddess, but she's not a goddess you would openly hear about uh, in everyday life. The first time she encountered me, or I should say, in this life, she encountered me. It was in a dream, and it was interesting because in this dream, I was seeing through the eyes of as if it was me. I was a dragon. I was serpent-like, so I believe I was an Asian type dragon, and I was in the ocean, and I remember storm clouds, and I rose up out of the ocean. And when I looked on the shore, there was a young girl. And she had something in her hand. And I believe I had this feeling that she summoned me. That I was there because she called me. So I approached her. And when I saw her, I had a very deep feeling of love for her. A feeling like, I love you. And she needed something to protect her village from something that was happening to them. It may have been, I get this feeling it was from bad people that had been attacking them in some way, but she needed an artifact to help them. And because I was there, I was going to help her find this item, and I would in turn also help them. So I took her to a wise man or a sage of some type, but he was off the coast in a very remote type, almost like not an island, but a small rocky a rocky uprising from the ocean, excuse me. And I took her there, and he gave her this artifact or this talisman that she was searching for. And after he gave her this item, I took her back to where she lived. And that was kind of where the story ended. Although I believe what happened was the people who were going to hurt them, her village, they were washed away by water. And I think I caused it, or I think this dragoness caused it as a way to protect them. And there was a temple on the mountain. There was a temple on a mountainside near the shore where she summoned me. So that was the dream. And I always thought it was a strange dream because it felt, when you get those dreams that feel so real, something is up about that dream. So that dream felt very, very real to me. Very familiar. So some time passed. And as I started to meditate more and I began opening up, I began to see different things when I closed my eyes. And when one thing would pass, I was allowed to proceed further to the next step of growth, the next stage of growth. So during this time, this stage, when I closed my eyes, I would see this blue-colored, almost looked like a serpent, going like this when I would close my eyes. And it wasn't a threatening feeling. And I would just see that. And it was almost like it was going through water, just like that. And I started seeing that at night, usually, when I would close my eyes. And so I meditated on this because I knew it was something I needed to start paying attention to, because it reminded me of how Goddess Sekhmet showed herself to me in that blue, with her blue face, just right there. So I was paying attention. My first thought was, what or who am I seeing? And I remember with Goddess Sekhmet, I thought it was perhaps an animal guide or animal spirit guide that I was seeing, but not so. So as I started meditating more, during one meditation, I saw myself in blue water, and it was pretty clear too. It was lovely. But it was kind of stormy on the surface. The waves I could see them from underneath. I could see them rolling. And I remember it was something, when I saw it, it was a flash in my mind, crystal clear flash image that I saw. And it stunned me to such an extent that I felt this big. I felt that tiny. And when I saw it, I was like, and I saw myself. It was like I was seeing a snapshot of it. And in many of my past lives, I was a mermaid. Whether you believe in that or not, of course, I respect your beliefs. For me, I believe that such things can be possible. So, in this flashback, or this image, I was a mermaid, but I wasn't so much focused on me rather than what I was seeing. Aside from me, was a humongous, beautiful Asian dragon sleeping under the ocean waves. And I knew she was huge because I was about that long, that big. And just her face, just seeing her face, I was like this big, and her face was like all the way extending out to here, her jaw, her eye. She was huge. And she had that beautiful classic, the hair on her face, you know, the classic beautiful scales. And her body extended into the ocean in such a way that it started to blend with that ocean blue color so that you couldn't see the rest of her body because it extended outward. She was huge and bluish in color. And she had some white in her mane, I guess, or, you know, and she was asleep. Or at least her eyes were closed. And she was just there, resting. And so as I saw this image flash, I was met with a feeling of humbleness, as if I was being shown something very, very special, and almost like a be still, be silent, be still kind of feeling like swept over me. And I realized it started to connect. The dots start to connect for us, you know? And I realized that this must have been what I was seeing, because, you know, the typical image of, say, a dragon from Europe, say, is that image of a dragon that many of us have seen. You know, 4 legs, big body, very muscular, big wings, you know. And the Asian dragon is more serpent-like, and they fly in the air without wings because they are gifted with such magical powers. And in some legends, it is due to a stone that they have in their foreheads that gives them that magical power. So it depends on the legend, but that was what I saw. It was a quick image, but it was crystal clear. And I knew that whoever it was trying to get my attention. And she succeeded. So I started to recognize her, and I started to talk to her during meditation. And she presented herself to me as being connected with me through one of my lives when I was a priestess, long time ago. And of course, as I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, I've pretty much always been a type of priestess, or I think in a lifetime I was actually a nun, in most of my lifetimes. And this was no exception. So I was a priestess, and I guess in one of my lives, and she was a goddess at a temple, and I was a priestess of her temple. And that is how she met me, or that is how I met her. And according to what I have been shown, and this was actually also confirmed by an outside source who is a psychic. She is a psychic. She's a psychic and a psychic medium, excuse me. When I was a priestess, before she ascended, she gave me part of herself so that she could continue to enjoy experiences here through me. So I'm not saying that I'm a goddess or anything like that, but she chose to do that so that she could, I guess, share my experiences. And I learned that, and it was actually confirmed. And I remember during that session with that very wonderful heart, she asked me, which confirmed actually even more. She asked me, she said, Christina, she said, I thought so, because when she looked at my roses, Christina had had some fresh cut roses from her own garden in a vase. She said, when she saw my roses, she said, I have some of those too. And that was like, wow. She legitimately was there and speaking to her, letting her know, hey, I have roses too. And I learned that offerings for Goddess Amika were roses or rose water. She likes water, especially the rose water, which is a very cleansing aspect as well. So I learned that about her, and it confirmed everything that I had been receiving from her in images. So it was a really great day to learn more about Goddess Amika is her name. So what I also learned that day as I was speaking to her, I had mentioned, or rather, what I also learned about Goddess Amika was that through my conversations with her, I had been asking if she had any love in her life. Some of the gods and goddesses do have love. My Holy Mother, Goddess Aset, of course, has God Osiris. And so I was asking her if she had anyone. I said, do you have a husband or a love of some kind? And she said, no, I don't have a husband. I said, oh. I had this feeling come over me. And I said, you don't prefer men, do you? And she said, no, she prefers women. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so do you have a love? My question is still there. Do you have anyone you love? And she said, yes, I do. But the relationship is complicated. And I said, oh. I said, I'm sorry. I said, who is she? I wanted to know more about her and more about Goddess Amika. And from what she told me, she is another dragoness, goddess, also of the water element. And so I said, why is it, I was trying to understand, why is it so hard for you to see her, or what makes it complicated? And I didn't quite understand. I still don't quite understand what makes it difficult, or harder, or more complicated. But I still ask every now and again to see if they've had a chance to spend time together, because I think when you love someone like that, it's very important that you spend time with them, because that's your other half. So I still think about that. When I meditate with Goddess Amika, it is always a celestial feeling. that I get. If I do see images, it's space, nebulas, stars. She is always in that setting. She is always calm. She is focused, and she is celestial. She is, she's very stoic in that sense. She's more stoic, more quiet, but there's a deep love that she projects. And so I feel that from her all the time. And when I learned that she gave a part of herself to me before she ascended, it clicked as to why I had that dream of being a dragoness, seeing that little girl. What I learned was I was seeing through her eyes, and that little girl was me. So she was showing that to me as a way to show me our connection that we had or still have. So that's why when I saw that little girl, I felt such a connection to her, because I was seeing myself through Goddess Amika's eyes. And so when that finally clicked, I was like, it's like, what is that movie, Inception? It's like, whoa, it's a dream within a dream, or whatever. It was like, whoa, mind blown. So that was a cool click, one of those aha moments that I had. It was pretty cool. So whenever I meditate with her, it is usually with the third eye or the crown chakra that she likes to meditate with. And so a lot of purple and a lot of deep blue is what I see when I meditate with her. And in addition, I will see those flashes, like I said. I see a lot of space, a lot of nebulas. Her eyes are golden. They're a golden color. Very piercing. Very, very piercing. Like eyes of just pure truth looking into you. Like you can't hide anything from her. She sees it. She sees right through you. All your barriers, all your masks that you wear, all of it. She sees right through it, into the very core of you. So those are my meditations with her. Interestingly enough, as I started researching, different legends about Asian dragons, I also came across a legend of the koi fish and how their journey, the legend mentioned that in their journey, their goal is to become, to ascend into heaven and become a dragon or a celestial being. And so it kind of made sense to me when I kind of read that legend, because I remember her showing herself to me as that ocean or that water dragoness in the beginning, and how now when I see her, she is her full self. She is that celestial dragoness. And so that's another reason today that I'm wearing, my clear quartz moon earrings and my moonstone. You can't really see this one. It's just all moonstone. And there is some moonstone in here as well. But that's how I see her. I learned also that she specifically offers or gives to me spiritual protection within the spiritual realms. So I learned that also through my, visit, my session with psychic medium Christina, I learned that as well. And she wanted me to know that, and so to remember that, and so I thank her for it often. And so those are my experiences with Goddess Amika, and I do call her Goddess Amika. So those are several of my experiences with Goddess Amika. And I'm very happy to have met her. She's very calming, very stoic, very loving, and very wise. Very, very wise, and so patient. My deities in my life are so infinitely patient and so loving. They guide, but they are also patient, and they encourage me also to be patient. So instead of getting filled with anxiety and worry about things that you have no control over, be still, be patient, stay grounded, focus on your goals, and press on. Never be afraid. Never be afraid. So, those are my experiences with Goddess Amika. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with me. Again, please feel free to leave comments down below, and you're always welcome to join me on my Facebook. My Facebook is Shasem Rasset. I always leave a link in the description down below. So thank you again for being with me. I hope you all have beautiful evenings or a beautiful day if you are watching this during the day. And never give up. Blessings to you, and thank you.